I see, during the process, for example, when I went down to Wellington, I saw all these people from all walks of life. Some had nothing. They were living in, their cars because they lost their jobs. And that was triggering for me. That's when I was like, you know, nobody should ever sit and be quiet about what's happening. People should have a sense of responsibility towards their fellow humans. Um, because, once your human rights is gone, it is very hard to get it back. When things are taken away from you, it is very hard to get them back.
Yeah.
That's a fact of life. Anywhere, any, political rules, boundaries, whatever comes in, they hardly ever leave. They're there to stay, and that's just so your freedom shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And if you're not aware, if you don't take it serious, yeah, sure, people tell me, oh, she's so like crazy. She thinks, she's a conspiracy theorist, etc. That's okay, but for me, then again, I can put my head on my pillow and say I did the right thing for my children, for my fellow human beings, knowing that I did my best, whether it worked or it didn't work. But at least every day I'm thinking that. And so far, I think with this mandates and COVID issues and the way the government has handled stuff, I don't think I've ever made a mistake. I think I've been on point on everything that I stood for, and I'm glad that I did.
Yeah, it's quite funny, isn't it? It feels like we're almost at a stage now in society where if you have any sort of opinion that's not mainstream popular, it's just very easy to put you in a box and say you're an alt-right conspiracy theorist.
Sure.
Seems to be at a state we're at now.
That's exactly that's how it works, this ideological sort of establishments coming in. The reason I don't care about that is because I grew up in one until I was 16. The most, important years of my life, I learned how these things work. I watched it happen. If you open your mouth, said anything, you're a heretic. You don't believe in Islam. You don't believe in the collective goodness, in the greater, whatever you call it, greater good. That's all excuse and bullshit, because, they're absolutely taking away the rights of the greater population for their own ideology. I don't agree with that. I've lived through it, and I can see that it started happening not under Islamic ideology, but under a different ideology, where a group of people in power feel like they can dictate to everybody else how they should live. That's not being free.
No.
And it's worrisome, because I don't want my children to go through what I went through. And yes, I know they've got a great life. We are in the most beautiful country in the world, and I love this country. But looking at overseas, what's happening there, and looking at New Zealand, the way they're going about things in New Zealand, to me is like, oh shit, this is all happening again. Different way, but the same path.
Did you you mentioned before you went to the COVID protests in Wellington. Are you vaccinated? Did you get the vaccine or no?
No.
Because it's funny, isn't it? Because it's there was definitely you look back and it's I'm a sheeple. I just go along with whatever's going. Like the government tells me to get 3 jabs, I'll get 3 fucking jabs. I just want to go with the path of least resistance. But I look back now and there was one of my good friends got married and I was a groomsman, and his mum had to have like a fake vaccine passport to even attend her own son's wedding because the caterers wouldn't let her, and otherwise there's also, and you look back now, it was only like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's you think, she was sort of almost like a leper at her own son's wedding at that time, and it's only like recent history, and you look back now and go, well, maybe she had a fair point. Do you know what I mean? And there was people that were forced out of their jobs. Yeah. And you look back now and it's only a couple of years ago, and you think, well, maybe these people sort of had a point.
When thinking rationally and objectively becomes a crime, and you're being judged for making decisions for your own health, or doing your own research at the time, having with internet, obviously you have access to the best virologists in the world, the best scientists in the world, and they are telling you after all their years, and this information was available before the vaccination came to New Zealand, and they were all worried about it, and they were very outspoken and verbal about it. It didn't take you could just go and find this information, and they were all valid, and make your mind. But when talking logic or taking ownership of your own life all of a sudden is you being a heretic, what is the difference of today and when they used to burn, Protestants or burn anybody or scientists who spoke against the church because the church said so, because the Catholic Church said this is the science, not what so-and-so says, not what a person who's dedicated his whole life has written half of the, scientific book and books and medical books, which until now we've been practicing. Oh, don't listen to that person. Listen to us. Listen to me, the politician, who's enforcing this upon you. And a whole bunch of, other people who are parroting it. And look what happened today. Like, for example, with the Hatchard report coming out yesterday, which now shows that 11,000 people were exempt, and a whole bunch of them were surgeons and doctors and health, people in the Ministry of Health, etc., etc. Well, so what is the difference between those people who were professionals, medical professionals, who rejected the vaccine? They were the best of the best in the country. They rejected the vaccine. You gave them exemption, but also a gag order, so they couldn't talk about it. But if I refuse to, based on my own searching of the best sources in the world, if I was like, oh, that's not very good for me, I think I'm going to wait and see what happens. And then, I'm okay to isolate. So why was I a conspiracy theory?
Yeah, it's again, like I was saying before, I think it's an easy box to put people into that have any sort of opinion that's not mainstream or popular. It's like an easy box. Just call them alt-right conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, well, the thing is, what bothers me is that it's a very hypocritical way that our government has been dealing with a personal freedom. So if I come today and I say I'm a different gender and this is my pronouns, this is what I think, and everybody should respect that. Oh yes, absolutely. Let's raise all the flags and support, what you're saying, because you're an individual. We should respect your ideology. We should respect your thoughts, and we should respect your feeling. So I come in and I'm like, I'm a mother of two. I am worried. It's not enough research. I don't 100% trust this procedure. I want to take my time. Oh, you're just a conspiracy theory. Why are you, doing this? It's not all about you. You're being selfish. So what is it? Either we have the personal freedom of thought and choice, or we don't.
Yeah.
Don't come at me and say, oh, I come from, I don't know, some race or somewhere or some country. So I'm more accepted because I have more thoughts. And everybody say, yeah, and everybody else has to shut up. That's not okay. If you give freedom and choice to people, then I respect that, and don't be hypocritical about it.
Would you ever get into politics? You got any interest in that?
Yeah, I get asked about this question a lot. I don't have any interest to get into politics, but
you've got some very strong opinions, and you're very smart as well.
But I definitely have an issue with how our political system in New Zealand has been sort of handled. We vote, and we get these people in, they go to make
Hang on, Kanye, no. You're being very naughty. You're bored about the COVID chat, I reckon. But I'm not. Yes. Well, so what you're saying is you.
So I believe that it needs to be kind of tackled, and we are voters and we have rights. But we vote these people in, they go in there with no accountability, do whatever they want. Nobody questions them. Nobody goes and holds them responsible. Hey, you promised these things. Where are they? What happened? We don't have an establishment like that. And I believe that we are in dire need of an entity that overlooks what government does in terms of making sure they deliver. In any cooperation, anywhere, you'll have that accountability, except within this government and how they run it. Now, that doesn't exist in many other places in the world either, but it doesn't mean that it can't exist. And I believe that it is definitely, we need a whole bunch of people who are experts and passionate, who can come and make sure the government delivers what they promise.